I own this. It's mine. My mug. Now, before we start this video, I'd just like to ask that if you guys like Illuvium content or other blockchain game content, then please subscribe to this. It would mean the world to us. Thank you. This video is about ownership, and I'm going to be drawing the connection between video games and card games and how the ownership of card games can be brought over to video games, because ever since video games came into existence, we lost ownership. Imagine a card game that when you play, you get more cards. When you play, you level those cards up. And when you play, those cards become more valuable. Well, that's Illuvium. And that's going to be the game that we're talking about in this video. Why connect one of the most advanced tech video games with old tech card games? Well, we need to take a trip down memory lane when card games were the thing to play, not Fortnite. My experience with trading cards was the Pokemon first generation cards. The funny thing is, I actually never played a Pokemon card game. I never played the game, I just collected them. And that's the point. I found collecting more exciting than playing. It was fun and exhilarating. Going to school was fun because I got to trade with my friends. And doing chores was even a little bit exciting because I was getting that one step closer to getting a new pack of Pokemon cards. Oh, when you finally got your hands on that new pack, you just wanted to crack that thing open, sniff it, and then and then open it up to see if you maybe got a rare or a shiny. This cycle of buying, trading, and collecting was addictive to me as a kid, since it was one of the few things that I had ownership of. It was real money, real cards, real trades. And to be honest, those things are important to me now as an adult. Even more important. Now, I'm a video game nerd. I love video games, but they have not really brought me the memories that I had when I was a kid, trading and buying and having ownership over these cards. It really was just quite different than being immersed in worlds in games. Video games are amazing, don't get me wrong. There is a reason why I play video games in my spare time and I'm not trading cards anymore. The best video games are immersive, they're exciting, they're thought-provoking, but most importantly, fun. The technology keeps getting better, with graphics getting better and even evolving gameplay like 100-person battle royales. Or games like Death Stranding, which you probably don't know, but when I put a bridge in my game to get from A to B, well, sometimes my bridge would pop up in other people's games and they could actually get from A to B too easier because of the bridge that I laid down. And that type of gameplay is because of the technology of the internet and power to be able to do such things. But there is one thing that video games can't do well, and more power won't help them. It's ownership. That's the word of the day. So back to the question I asked earlier. Why compare video games with trading card games? As I said earlier about trading cards, it's real money, real cards, real trading. It's real that I own. And traditional video games cannot do this, but blockchain video games can, and they already are. But before we get into blockchain games, I want to address traditional games for a sec. World of Warcraft, for example. You can grind away, build up an account that is worth tens of thousands of dollars. But if Blizzard, the company that owns WoW, went bankrupt or simply decided to close its servers, your account is now worth nothing. The problem is that the ecosystem of value in a traditional video game is centralized. One company has all the value and all the control if they wanted to. And it breaks down even more. You can't take that value out of the game. Your items, they're stuck in the game. Unless you break the terms of service and you find some sketchy way to trade those items or account with someone, then you're out of luck. Now to blockchain games. Blockchain games like Illuvium flip this model completely on its head, more than I can explain in this video. Let me list out 5 ways that players can have ownership in blockchain games. And I'll use Illuvium as the example. 1. You will own creatures. They are yours to battle, trade, sell, fuse, or evolve, or even burn. You can do whatever you want with them. Let's take this a step further, because this is really representing very much real life. Something that you own that other people want, well, maybe you can rent it out. So what if you could rent out your creatures? What if you could actually make an income through holding these creatures and then renting them out to people so that they can fight with them? That is possible on the blockchain. 2, you will own crafting resources and materials. Maybe you just want to be a humble farmer and just farm these resources and just sell them on the open market. That's possible too. 3, speaking of being a farmer, you can own some land. Illuvium is building a mini game where you'll actually be able to build up like factories of sorts that will manufacture critical elements needed for the main game. That could be a way that you could make a passive income. 4, you will own cosmetics. Illuvium has imbues and they will resemble something akin to skins in Fortnite. But in other games, you could own your hats, shoes, clothes, items on your property, or in your house. These could also not just be owned by you, but like made by you. 5, you could own the whole game. I'm not joking, all in-game revenue will be distributed to stakeholders. And since the whole game is owned by its players, there is true governance. Token holders will have voting power to vote in council members that will act on their behalf when making critical decisions about the game. Ownership runs very deep in Illuvium, more than I even know, and more than I can even imagine what possibly could happen. But this is possible with any game that decides to adopt blockchain technology. Even though they can, they don't need to actually give the whole ownership of the game to the player base. Just the act of simply owning in-game items will be enough for most games. And that will draw on a very human desire, like I described when I was playing cards as a kid. Ownership! Again, if you like this, please like and subscribe.